I am a friend of Casa Academy, and my company, Dynamic Leadership Solutions, provides pro bono consulting services for Casa Academy's CEOs. Mohammed Halawa, who is here with his family tonight, is a kindergartner at Casa Academy. I am here tonight to tell you his story from his perspective. Before the war began in Syria, our family lived a beautiful life in a village in Syria called Idlib. Our town was like one big family. At night, the smell of freshly baked pita bread and rice would waft through the air, and often one neighbor would make extra food to share with his neighbors. If someone got married, everyone attended the ceremony. If someone was sick, that person's house would be crowded with visitors for days. If someone died, the entire village would mourn together. We lived a wonderful life. In 2011, I was born. That same year, as a result of the Arab Spring, a protest grew in Syria against the government, which led to an armed conflict after the president of Syria, Bashar al-Assad, violently repressed a revolt. Soon, Assad's soldiers began entering our village and raping women. One night, my dad, while working as a bus driver, was pulled off of his bus by Assad's soldiers. They told him that if he did not turn over his two eldest sons to their military, he would go to jail. My father refused, and the soldiers arrested him, then kicked him until he was unconscious. He spent weeks recovering in the hospital. One day in 2012, we heard planes overhead, and bombs began dropping on our village. Just as a bomb was dropping on our house, my dad realized that my brother, Muawiyah, was still inside the house. He ran inside and grabbed Muawiyah just in time. A moment later, our house and everything we owned lay in pieces on the ground. Inside, our pet dog and turtle were dead. We watched that day as a villager pulled one of our neighbors out from under the rubble. Half of her body was missing. That year, my grandmother died in a bombing raid, and our aunt died when driven crazy by the relentless bombing in our village. She ran out into the street one night, ripped off her clothes, and was instantly incinerated. Without a house and with constant bombings, we had nowhere safe to live. We dug a hole into the ground and piled rocks around the edges. For 2 months, my family lived in this hole, and since there was no food, we ate only grass. Soon we realized that there was no life left for us in Syria. We decided to leave in 2013. Our family made our way to Lebanon, but there the Lebanese government turned us away. They had too many refugees. When we did not move fast enough, they shot at us with guns, and we ran away as fast as we could. For the next few weeks, we traveled by foot to Turkey, sleeping outside in the cold and under trees. From Turkey, we took a 2-day boat ride to Egypt. Due to the stress of the voyage, my mother went into labor on the boat and gave birth to our sister Hala. When Hala was born, she could not breathe, and the captain of the ship insisted that we throw her overboard because he believed she was dead. Our family refused. Hala did survive and will attend Casa as a kindergartner in a year. For the next 1.5 years, we lived in Egypt. One day, the Catholic Charities Refugee Resettlement Program told us that we had been selected to come to the United States as refugees. We were very happy. In April of 2015, we arrived in Arizona. My family doesn't know if our relatives back in Syria are alive or dead, but we are grateful. Grateful to be alive, grateful to be in this country, and grateful for the opportunities living here has afforded us and our futures. We are also grateful for Casa Academy. Despite my family's language and cultural barriers, I am embraced at my school, and my parents know that I will grow up to be an intelligent, kind person who cares about others and cares about the world. Thank you for listening to my story and for supporting the school that I love so very much. Let's take a moment and thank the Halawa family for sharing their story